Hi, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Brianna, and welcome back to Fresh Off the Broke.
Fresh Off the Broke is about personal experiences growing up Asian American in a predominantly white community, Asian media, and Asian pop culture in general. Race has always been a sensitive topic. Every day there are debates over race. With our podcast, we intend to shed light on the experiences of first-generation Asian immigrants, not put them on a pedestal.
We understand that race isn't everything, but there should be an acknowledgement of people of color, the knowledge gap, and the racial divide that will ideally be broken. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the episode. Today, we are going to be discussing the gentrification of Asian food.
Now, this is going to be part one in our food series that we're doing for this month. Doesn't really have anything to do with November, but we wanted to do a food series. So,
where do we start?
Where do we start? I don't know, outside across the street there's an Asian fusion restaurant.
Oh God.
Well, no, not really. I don't. That was an exaggeration. But usually when I think of like gentrification of Asian food, I think of those fake fusion restaurants.
Oh yeah.
Or those quote unquote authentic restaurants that are actually owned by white people.
Mhm.
And then they hire Asian chefs and they mark up the prices really high.
Mhm.
How do you feel about Asian fusion restaurants? Have you been to one?
I actually no, never. My parents refuse. Yeah, we always go to like seemingly authentic chain. Well,
Seemingly.
I don't know. I know like the Filipino ones for sure I know because which white person is gonna make a Filipino restaurant? Like that's just
Most of
not
them
the
ideas.
popularity. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a fusion restaurant. Have you?
Not knowingly, I don't think so. I have been to one or two of those like fake kind of like tricking white people restaurants.
Mm.
Uh, it was because I was in the US once, and my dad, he doesn't really like eating. Uh, he's a really picky eater. Like, he doesn't like trying new things and stuff.
Mm.
And since he knows that he likes Chinese food, or he knows that he likes a specific dish, he'll just end up eating that, and he
Yeah.
won't like try something else. Or won't go to a different restaurant. And so when we were in the U.S., he wanted to have Chinese food, but given the location that we were in, it wasn't easy to find Chinese food. So we ended up going to this really bad
Oh man.
restaurant. It was awful. And you know how I knew that before I even ate?
What?
Most of the people inside eating were not Asian.
Yes, that's how you know.
That's how you know, right?
Hmm.
Because it didn't have those really obvious red flags aside from the whole customer thing. They didn't have the stereotypical font, which we'll be getting into later, that restaurants have. So I don't know, we were just hoping that it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad. The food was awful.
Yikes.
And USD is worth more than the Canadian dollar, so we lost money too.
Not
Why did I say it like we were gambling? We lost money.
technically you were.
Yeah, it really was a gamble.
The closest thing to a fusion restaurant or a not authentic, which I guess it is Mandarin, like the buffet chain in where we live. Have you been there?
Yeah, I have a few times. I think I went once for my birthday. My this girl I know, she used to have her birthday party slash dinner there every year.
Yeah, it's a popular place for like parties. I was supposed to have like my graduation party there, but that never happened. So
Middle
yeah.
school graduation?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah. Your college graduation.
Yes.
The thing with Mandarin is that I can't say that they're scamming people with the whole authentic Asian thing. Because I don't know. With buffets, they usually do take the most stereotypical or popular dishes from a certain background.
Mm-hmm.
For example, with Chinese food, you'll have chicken balls, which I still don't really know what that is. You'll have spring rolls, which spring rolls aren't necessarily a unauthentic piece of paste. I don't. They're not necessarily an unauthentic dish, but it is like more consumed by non-Chinese people than by Chinese people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
agreed.
on a day-to-day basis, Chinese people don't eat all that fried stuff that's sold at food court.
Mm.
What's the stereotypical Filipino dish? Is there a stereotypical Filipino dish? I don't think I've seen that at restaurants.
It's not a thing in restaurants. It's mostly like just like if you have a Filipino friend and go to a party of theirs, they have like your stereotypical foods. Philippine food is not really westernized because it's
That's
very
good.
much, yeah, it's very niche, I
Oh,
guess you
don't
could
don't
say.
say that word. But nowadays, whenever I hear niche, I think of all those annoying.
Oh God.
Okay, don't hate me, whoever's listening to this. That's part of this. But I am really over all that content creation,
Niche
infographics
content.
trend that's going on. Where people are like, find your niche, use those hashtags.
My
Or
niche is
find
good.
10 accounts, the top 10 accounts in your niche and comment under them. And then you'll get followers that way. Gosh. Is
Ruined.
that really what you want? Is that organic growth? I know that's a term y'all use.
Organic growth. This is sounding more and more like my bio lessons.
Gosh. Uh, one, I would say, relevant example, maybe not as relevant as, oh, it happened yesterday, but it's pretty relevant because of the person involved. But Gordan Ramsay, I don't know if y'all heard of him. He's an up and coming small chef.
Oh, really? I've never heard his name before.
Gordan Ramsay has a Chinese restaurant called Lucky Cat Restaurant. It's supposed to be a authentic Asian restaurant, but it went under fire for obviously not being authentic and somewhat cultural appropriation in a way. At least that's what I saw in the media. The restaurant looks very much like a high-end Western restaurant. It sounds weird saying Western restaurant, but it also sounds weird saying white people restaurant. If you
Yeah.
look at the interior designing, you can see where they incorporated Asian elements. For example, at the bar, you can see that like square wooden pattern. That's pretty Asian. And then, the elephant in the room, the sliding doors. Well, actually, I don't know if they're sliding doors, but they resemble the separators. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Has a not necessarily a bamboo design, but some type of Asian-esque watercolor painting. You know those Chinese watercolor painting with the leaves and the fancy
Mm-hmm.
calligraphy,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But I just saw this at a glance, I would not think this was an Asian restaurant.
Yeah, no, it looks very much like minimalistic white restaurant that does like Asian inspired dishes.
Uh-huh. Because also, this is weird. I don't know. It just seemed like a place you would go for a night out or
Mm-hmm.
something. I don't. And I don't know what this cloth thing is on the table because why is it folded with a like bump in the middle? They don't do that at Asian restaurants. They don't even got that traditional stand for the chopsticks. I see a little block, but I'm thinking of the white one, the traditional little bench
Yeah.
in the middle with the indent.
Yeah, it seems like a very much your typical I'm a rich white guy who wants to make an Asian restaurant.
Yeah, and critics pointed out that the restaurant doesn't appear to have any Asian chef.
Big surprise there.
And we can't exactly go taste test or go to this restaurant for various reasons. COVID. I don't want to give him money.
We don't have money.
Fresh off the broke. And I don't know if I want to eat the food. Because one element, a very common element, is almost a trope in white Asian restaurants, is that the portions of the food, this like one tiny piece of meat and
Yeah.
then some sauce to try to make it all high end. That's one thing I don't really like about fine dining. I don't understand why it has to be like that, which I know, ingredients, stuff like that. But how,
Yeah.
even the most simplest dishes, it will be like two little things of vegetables. And then I wanted to say like two pieces of choy, but that sounds weird. Um, and then some sauce. You can't do that with Asian food. Are you gonna have two pieces of like two things of bok choy and then some soy sauce?
And 2 grains of rice on the side.
Oh my god, yeah, that's the garnish.
And that would be $60, please.
Don't forget the tip.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Japanese, like going out for actual sushi, to me, that is the only like Asian food where it would come in like minimal amounts because sushi is more of like an experience, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't go out to eat proper sushi like from a proper sushi chef like every single night, obviously, because it's expensive and it's an experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't really do that to Asian food unless you are, I guess, a white guy who wants to make it like an experience. Like, ooh, come to my restaurant for the Asian experience, even though I don't have any Asian chefs.
Yeah, I agree. There's a tweet here. I'll put it up on the screen if I can get a legit screenshot. Because here, in this article that I'm using, they wrote it in the form of a quote. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find a picture. But it is a tweet from George Chen at China Lives G Chen. I don't know why I had to say that. Commentating on Gordan Ramsay's restaurant. He tweeted, "Is the famous chef going to curse at his white cooks in Asian or what? Every chef has a right to interpret another cuisine, but the integrity and culture, in bracket, read authenticity, albeit I hate that term, bracket, needs to be studied in depth and not, all caps, whitewash for marketing purposes."
Period.
But yeah, exactly. Why are you having white chef make Asian food?
I know why.
Why?
Because if it's an Asian cook, why would people want to go to an Asian cook? People be racist out here. I don't want to eat from an Asian person. I want to eat from a white guy who knows what he's doing because he's cooking Asian food, yet he has no ties to Asia whatsoever.
Yeah, of course. I get all my Chinese food from a white guy.
Yeah,
Sounds
as
like
you
a
should.
drug deal.
Hmm.
What do you mean? Mm-hmm. Rihanna. No, we're not having the conversation here. That's the thing that confuses me most with the white cooked. Because, I mean, I don't know where they studied, I don't know what culinary school they went to, but it is possible for someone of a different ethnicity to master cooking in a cuisine that's not native to their background.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah, no.
And I really don't like the whole there's a way to put a Western spin on other cultures' food. But if you're trying to make it gourmet, you're in a sense insulting the cuisine because it means like high class, high end, right?
Gourmet Asian.
And so if you're taking a cuisine and you're making it gourmet, but by making it gourmet, you're watering it down, literally diluting it,
Mm-hmm.
then you're basically insulting it. You're basically saying that it I don't want to say poor people food, but it's very low end and it's not high end enough. It's not gourmet enough for you.
Yeah.
So you have to sprinkle some fancy garnish, a few pepper flakes,
And make the
a
portion 10
mint
times
leaf,
smaller.
and serve it on a very tiny china plate.
Yeah.
What's
By
up with
Gordan Ramsay.
that? By Gordan Ramsey. The logo looks. I don't understand the logo because it doesn't give me exactly stereotypical Asian restaurant vibe, but it looks like it's trying to be that without seeming like that. There's a picture of Gordon Ramsay next to it.
Oh, what the heck? I didn't think it would look like that.
Yeah, it's a weird font. It's not exactly the stereotypical font. It's
Okay, but it is.
because the lucky part and the by Gordon Ramsay is definitely in a type of stereotypical Asian scripture, but the way that cat is written, I don't really understand it. Is it trying to
Look like a cat? Like the tail? No, I don't think it's trying to look like a cat.
Is it trying to look like a Chinese character?
That's what I think.
Because if I squint, and I mean squint so far that I can barely see,
No, honestly, like I'm
I
squinting.
kind of see this character. Hang on, I'm gonna put it on the screen for y'all.
What does that character mean?
Uh, it doesn't really go by itself. It kind of means like Chinese, because if you put this character next to it, which is person, like Huaren or Yan, then that's another way of saying like a Chinese person.
Hmm. I mean, I don't think he did that intentionally.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
think, I mean, like, I think he was trying to make it look like a character, but I don't think he had a character in mind.
No, definitely not. Would not think that far. Sorry, sir.
Also, the picture of him, like, beside the logo was, like, staring into my soul, and I have to click away. It's terrifying.
It bothers me because like blue eyes, blue suit, blue logo.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with this restaurant, but you know. And Gordon was definitely very offended by the critics that were criticizing, as that's part of their job. They were just doing their job. So, this article is from Today, the news outlet. Article is called Gordon Ramsay Fires Back at Food Critic Who Slammed His Latest Restaurant. The food critic in question is Angela Hui. In a Eater review published back in 2019, which was, relevant at the time, she said that she was the only person who appeared to be of Asian descent at the press preview event for the restaurant, which major yike. Because actually, I remember in the past, Gordan Ramsay in a video with an Asian chef who was taste testing, I believe, an Asian dish from this restaurant or taste testing Gordan Ramsay's Asian cooking.
I think I know
And
what
he
you're
was saying how it was completely
talking.
inauthentic.
Mm.
And Gordon Ramsay didn't exactly fight him on that, but he was offended. I understand that it can be hard to take criticism, especially when he's such a well-known chef and his whole reputation is on the line with food. But you gotta do this right. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to. You have so many restaurants, and they're supposed to be really successful. I haven't been to any of them because, expensive. But if you're gonna roll out an Asian restaurant, do it really well.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be an example for white chefs that try to make an Asian restaurant. That sounds really weird. But you know how when Rihanna came out with the Fenty Beauty and people were talking about how her foundation shade range
Mm-hmm.
was actually inclusive
Mm-hmm.
both ways? He
She did
could
it
be
right.
like that. He could be like that. I mean, you can't exactly be on the same level as Rihanna, but you know. Anyways, going back to what I said about Angela Hui, she wrote, there appeared to be some confusion over the particular source of inspiration for Lucky Cat. It's all Asian. Oh, wait. What? Oh, she wondered whether the restaurant was supposed to be Japanese or Chinese because, like I said earlier, with the design, the interior design, you can't exactly say that it's an Asian restaurant, but it's kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wrote, it's all Asian, who cares, sarcastically, because that's the way that these people think. It looks Asian, so, it's an Asian restaurant, guys. It was supposed to be an Asian restaurant, but what is an Asian restaurant?
I don't even know how to like try and explain if I were on his side.
Yeah, imagine being the spokesperson for this restaurant.
Yeah.
Because Asian, even if you think about Asian people, there's so many different countries in Asia. And if you think of Asian food, that do you know how many dishes that is?
Man.
How could you do, what is an Asian restaurant? I don't.
Honestly, like Asian restaurant, it just means owned by white guy. That's all I know.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna add this. Someone did a review of the restaurant, and it's clearly by a white couple.
The way you said that.
I needed to.
White.
So, I'm gonna just read some stuff from it because it's kind of funny.
From London.
She posted, I think it's a lady. I don't know. They posted a
Hey.
because it's posted by London's dining couple, and I'm pretty sure it's
Respectful pronouns.
okay. Yeah, I just thought I saw that me and my husband, which even though okay, yeah, sorry, not helping, whatever. So they posted a picture of takoyaki, and it's literally two balls of takoyaki. Okay, and the caption is my first time ever having takoyaki, and I really enjoyed it. Which okay, first time ever at the white restaurant. Okay,
You
first
don't
of
have
all,
anything to compare it to.
exactly. Um, let me see this. So there's another one, and it's the section. She wrote it like she has different sections for each of her photos. And this one is buns and dumplings. And the picture is like one, two, three, four, five tiny, tiny, tiny dumplings.
They
They're
look
like,
like wannabe wontons.
yeah, they're not even dumplings. They're like wonton size, but I don't know. And they're in a green sauce. It's probably like pesto or something.
Do you think
And
it's wasabi?
oh, maybe it is. Well, I don't think it is because wasabi's like a lighter green.
You're right. You're right.
I don't know. It looks like instead of pasta, they put the dumplings in pesto sauce.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Um, Let me see. And the caption is, I know, unlike me and like Shima, I don't know who Shima is, maybe their partner, but most folks aren't that excited by eating snail. But you need not worry because the balance of flavors in the filling is so good that it's neither particularly snaily or watercressy, just tasty.
But isn't it snail and watercress dumpling?
Yes.
What?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
Maybe it's like a watercress, like he blended up watercress and that's the sauce because that's what it looks like. The tempura
Maybe.
doesn't even look like it. It looks like lamb.
What is that?
I don't even know.
It looks kind of green.
Yeah, it looks like something is wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think is that shrimp? It doesn't look like shrimp. It literally looks like if I
It says
dropped
salt and pepper prawns.
this is gonna be gross. It looks like you dropped something in gravel. Does it not? Like it looks like I have a chewed piece of gum and I dropped it
Oh
in
no.
gravel. Does it not?
No, no.
Okay, there's
These
skewer.
pictures aren't very flattering.
Yeah, no. Oh, there's an octopus here. Or no, that's squid. It was okay, apparently. Dessert. What type of cheesecake? Chocolate tofu.
Oh God, what is that?
What is that?
They could have. Oh my God, they could have done the easiest thing. Would have been tofu fa, which is that sweet tofu dessert. Have you had it before?
I probably have had an equivalent, but I don't like the name doesn't ring a bell.
Cause at Kanji Queen, don't they give you like desserts at the end of dinner for free?
No.
Is that not a thing?
What kanji queen do you go to? Girl, I need to
Don't
go there.
don't they have like the red bean stuff and the?
Oh, I think that's a different
Have you
chain.
never had any of the tongsai?
I've had like red bean, like it's like a soupy thing, not soup, but like there's like little red bean thingies in it, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah, then I
but
know what you're talking.
they never gave you the tofu one. I know they have different days, so that's probably why. And also it depends on what restaurant you went to.
Yeah, I probably go to a different chain or like sister chain that doesn't give desserts.
Yeah. Wait, you mean franchise?
Franchise. What did I say?
No,
Oops.
it really doesn't matter, but in my mind I was picturing like you were going to a specific. It's fine. I will throw up a picture of tofu fa later, but it is essentially tofu. I wouldn't say cold because it's not. It can be served cold or hot, and it's served with this type of gingery sugar water. That doesn't sound appealing. I'm aware. Let me see what it's called. Sweet ginger or clear syrup. Okay, yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, syrup. I can live with that description. But yes, going back to the reviewer that you were talking about just now,
Mhm.
I can understand why they thought the food tastes good. You know, one, they didn't have anything to compare it to, and two, even though they gentrified Asian food, since they're still, you know, high class chef, they probably just made it taste like some type of Western dish, and so it still tasted fine. but if you had an Asian person, more specifically, someone that was eating one of the dishes that was inspired by one of the countries or whatever, they would have thought it tasted awful because it doesn't taste like what it's supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
Because just because something passes in flavor doesn't mean that it's authentic.
Period.
We're posting all these quotes. Every single word that was said in this episode, I'm making a quote post for it. Follow our Instagram at Fresh Off the Broad. Just a very subtle plug. So, y'all have probably seen this through most likely Nextshark, because Nextshark is pretty on top of it with these news stories. Shout out to Nextshark. Sponsor us. I don't think they can. I don't think that's how it works. But the headline, American chef bibimbap with tater tots is triggering Koreans hard. And the context for this is that this white bibimbap recipe was featured in a segment on a Food Network show called Guy's Ranch Kitchen, Guy Fieri. And this American chef, Justin Warner, he was showing Guy his brunch kind of bibimbap recipe where he replaced rice with potato nuggets, and instead of, hang on, what is, I believe he put apple cider in it too for like sweetness or something.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And there was bacon too, and the broccoli. Basically, what he did, I really don't understand why he had to call it his own version of bibimbap. Because what he really did was he took the pot and then made food using the pot. Because if you listen to his explanation in the video, the only inspiration he got was the fact that food could cook itself in that pot in a way. Because if you heat it up, it stays hot for a long time. And so, for example, it's like when you have a sin tofu, and you crack a raw egg in it, it'll cook pretty quickly. And so that's really what it is. But he was like, "Oh, this is my version of bibimbap." Throws broccoli, bacon, apple cider, and then a pepper on the side.
He also said in the clip, I'm pretty sure either the clip or the TV show, he said, gochujang is the soy sauce of Korea. Yikes. And then to which someone replied, first of all, gochujang is gochujang. Gochujang is not the soy sauce of Korea, because guess what? Soy sauce is the soy sauce of Korea.
Yikes. People need to watch this comparison that they make. That did not make any sense.
Yeah.
And then another thing, which I would say is like the elephant in the room, bibimbap. Bap means rice. You can't have bibimbap without the rice. That is literally the point of the dish. Does he even know what gochujang is?
Probably
not. Do you think he knows?
He added apple cider vinegar to it.
Yeah. Wait, was it apple cider vinegar or apple cider?
Oh, maybe just apple cider.
Because I think it was apple cider. Because he was going for a brunch theme. It was weird. Because the guy, he was kind of confused, but then he tasted it and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Well, that's not exactly what he said, but he didn't exactly hate it.
He literally could have just said, "I made this breakfast bowl and I used a bowl that is used in Korea in bibimbap because it cooks food evenly, or gives it that extra crunch on the edges," right?
That
you didn't have to say, This is bibimbap.
That would have worked. He could have gotten a pass for that. Actually, some people might have been mad. Some people might have been angry with that.
I mean,
Well,
at least like if
could
he
have
said
been angry.
that, it would have been like he knows what he's talking about at least.
Yeah,
But
because in the video, he seemed pretty knowledgeable about the bowl or the
yeah,
pot, the stone pot. Yikes! I don't know. And something more recent that, God, I don't even want to think about it. But something more recent that I'm sure everyone has seen is the BBC rice cooking
oh
video.
my God.
The horrid rice cooking video.
First of all, you want to strain your rice.
It was an egg fried rice recipe from BBC Food. And the recipe as a whole was awful, but just right off the bat, the straining part. This actually isn't supposed to be a rice cooking video per se. It was more the rice cooking part that blew up, but it was a egg fried rice recipe from BBC Food. And just from the beginning, this lady takes the rice that she cooked and then dumps it into a strainer.
Honestly, though, like, not to be that person, but why do you need a recipe for egg fried rice? It's not that hard.
It's not, right?
All you
The
need
thing
to
that
do
you
is
need to
cook
learn is just to
rice.
cook rice.
Yeah, and then throw an egg in there, put it on a pan, and eat it.
Yeah, it's basically scrambled eggs and rice that you fry
Yeah.
together.
Like, obviously, you can add like soy sauce or garlic or onions or something, but egg fried rice easy is probably just rice and egg.
It really is.
You couldn't even cook the rice properly, man.
Rice is not that hard to cook. You could, the laziest person ever could do it. Or, get a rice cooker. I mean, I know not everyone has the money for that if you want a nice rice cooker, but I'm pretty sure they have uh cheap rice cookers that can get the job done.
Yeah,
You
for
don't really
sure.
need to get a nice one. You don't need to get the fancy cuckoo one.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have a rice cooker. We used to use it, but we're like a really small family, and it's like it cooks way too much rice in one go that we can't finish, so we just literally use the pot.
Yeah?
Also, if you're straining rice, that's how you know you've done it wrong,
Yeah, why? How much water did you put in there?
honestly. Oh, I think we should maybe to the people who don't know how to cook the rice. How about you explain how you cook rice and then I'll explain how I cook rice.
Oh,
Oh, do you
mine
just
is
use the
gonna be a
cooker?
lot shorter than yours just because we use a rice cooker.
Okay, yeah.
But basically, you take, well, okay. Uh, we have I don't want to say bucket, but we have a thing of rice. You know, you take the little cup that comes with the thing.
Hmm.
Actually, does it come with one?
I
The
don't know.
rice carrying container, the rice container?
Yeah, it does, it does. I
Comes with a
think.
little plastic cup. You scoop up however much rice you need into your rice cooking bowl. Love my terminology here right
Yeah, I was
now.
gonna say.
Then you turn on the water and you wash the rice because it was probably dirty in packaging.
Mhm.
And then you do that. You do the thing where after you wash it, you fill it up with water and then you press your hand down. Or like some people, they do the thing where they put their finger in.
What do you do?
Uh, I do the hand thing. So if I press my hand down and then the water goes up to about my wrist or maybe a little before, then that's enough water. And then I put the bowl with the rice in the rice cooker. I put the lid down. I plug in the rice cooker, or actually, you can plug in the rice cooker first, and then you press down the button to cook.
Tiffany's rice recipe.
It's really not a recipe. I just wash the rice, fill it with some water, and then the rice cooker does the rest. It steams it for me.
I wish we had a rice cooker. It's so much easier. Bro, I hate washing rice though, because it takes so long for the starch to go away. Like,
What kind of rice are you buying?
for us, I have to wash it like 3 times.
Define 3 times though.
Like
Like
water,
how long does it take for each time?
not a couple seconds, like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Oh,
Like
really?
wash like water in, mush it around, and then pour the water out. That's one.
Mine washes out pretty quickly.
Really? Mine does not. Well, maybe because usually when I cook rice, I'm cooking sushi rice. I don't know about our regular rice.
Oh,
It might be different than sushi rice.
I have like jasmine rice.
Oh, it's probably different because we normally eat jasmine rice, but when I cook rice, it's sushi rice.
So you have your own designated rice?
Well, it's because my parents would never, like, my parents don't make, if we're eating sushi, I'm the one making it.
Ah, that makes sense.
Or anything like that. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. For me, for cooking rice, what I do the same thing. I have the little cup thingy from a rice container, as much rice as you need, and then I have to wash it like 3 times. It's probably less for normal rice. And then for me, I do the finger thing. So the rice level, like if you point your finger to the floor, the rice, like if the tip of your finger was touching the bottom of the pot, the rice should hit the first line on your finger and the water should hit the second line.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's the technique I use. And then we put it on the stove on like medium high heat, which is just high heat for me because I'm impatient. And once it starts boiling, we lift up the lid to let the air out and then put that to medium.
Mm-hmm.
And then after like it simmers down and like the water, you can tell that there's barely any water left. We close the lid and put it on like 2 and just leave it there until we need to use it. So like the fact that she had to strain out water makes me like cringe. Like why was there so much water in there? You're
Yeah.
just eating like porridge.
Yeah, the rice is gonna be super soft and probably like mushy.
Yeah. Oh God.
This is weird. Rice is one of the easiest things to cook.
Literally.
And it's one of those things where it's already pre-made, if you know what I mean, because it's just dried rice
Yeah.
that you
Like all you need to do is boil
you
it.
moisten it a little and then you steam it.
Oh man.
Gosh.
But I'm
Gosh.
glad that Uncle Roger made a video with the lady afterwards. Because like
Uh-huh.
she wasn't offended at all the hate, which is good.
Mm-hmm. That's nice, because then it's not just hate piling on hate, you know?
Yeah.
I will hold that against her a little bit. That rice tutorial. I will hold it against her a little. But she could have done it worse. She could have made a restaurant
Oh
and
God.
then said that and then did that with everything.
Did she wash the rice? No, right?
Let me check.
Because I don't think she did.
I'm gonna check because I do not remember. Let me see. Okay. It's funny because this recipe was called the easiest ever.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, it's not even right.
Oh, she didn't.
She didn't?
Yeah, she didn't.
Okay, that makes sense.
From my understanding, disclaimer through a movie, in journalism, when you're running a story, like running it by your supervisor or the people that are in charge of vetting them, you have to provide sources and evidence, or at least as much evidence as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like someone should have vetted that recipe. Because if someone vetted that, they definitely could have avoided this entire situation. But at the same
Yeah.
time, becoming a meme nowadays is seen as a good thing because any marketing is good marketing.
Yeah.
But that's not what this episode is about. So, I don't know. I hope she's doing well.
Yeah.
I hope she never doesn't do a recipe like that again. Now, going back to what I said earlier about that fake Chinese restaurant that didn't have the stereotypical font, and also how we were saying that Gordon Ramsay's restaurant logo had the stereotypical font, we're gonna get into what that stereotypical font really is. Now, the hardest thing to grasp with this font is the name.
How do you pronounce it?
I looked it up, and it's supposed to be chop suey. Suey?
Yeah, I've seen suey, which does not sound right. I thought it was chop suey.
Yeah, but at the same time, chop suey sound English.
It does, but also like, isn't it an English made word?
I guess.
Because like the dish isn't, it's like an English dish. Well, American Chinese dish.
Yeah. It's like with fortune cookies. Fortune cookies came from America.
Yeah.
Fun fact if you didn't know. So, this chop suey font is a wonton font, also known as Chinese font, chopstick font, or chop suey font, type or lettering. It's an ethnic typeface with a visual style expressing quote unquote Asianness or quote unquote Chineseness. I got this description from Wikipedia. Disclaimer, you know. Uh, there's something that sets me off about this font. It's
What?
very. I know it's obvious to say, oh, I don't like it, it's offensive, but just something about it that's off. The way that it's just. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of bamboo shoes, was probably the whole point because they're trying to make it. They're trying to make it very Asian looking.
Yeah, I think
But
it's trying to mimic like, what's the word? Like characters.
yeah, it probably is trying to mimic brushstrokes. The sharp lines. I don't know. Sometimes when I think about sharp lines, I think of the whole small, sharp eye stereotype.
Yeah. It's very old school Asian stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Also something very bad.
Oh no.
The Korean War Memorial in Auburn, New York. New York? That's NY, right?
Sorry?
NY is New York, right?
I'm assuming.
Okay.
You can check.
I'm sorry, I don't know America,
I'm gonna look this
but
up.
it's not like you guys know Canada anyways, but yes. The Korean War Memorial in Auburn is, it has wonton font. Oh
Oh
man,
my god.
that's so not appropriate.
Oh my god. I'm looking at this photo. What?
I'm gonna add it to the doc. I mean, to the folder for future episodes. That is
God.
not.
That's so disrespectful. I mean, I like to think that they did this without the hindsight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even if you were trying to be culturally considerate, why even try to use an Asian font? Just
Yeah, no.
use a font that you use in America, It's not like gosh, I this is a whole other thing, but the whole Continental Army kind of thing that US has with oh we conquer everyone.
Oh yeah.
USA.
It's like, is that really a good thing? Is that something you want to brag about?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Out of all things to brag about, you really want to brag about the fact that your army just like killed everyone?
Yeah.
I don't know. When I hear Americans bragging about how they won all these wars, it's. I know this is a drastically different context, but it's not. You don't always have to be right. Sometimes it's better to just not go into war, not just start things for no reason
Yeah.
with other
Also,
countries.
like, think about like Vietnam War and Agent Orange, and that still has lasting
Mm,
effects to this day.
yeah.
And this is coming from someone who has an American uncle who fought in the Vietnam War and has effects from Agent Orange. And he
This
was on the
font.
American side. So imagine the people who were on the victim side of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
It says here that in 2002, Abercrombie and Fitch were under fire because they produced a line of T-shirts with uh, bucktooth images and wonton font slogan.
Why are is Bucktooth like why
Oh,
is
I
that?
see it. I see it. I see it. It's a Chinese caricature here. Hang on. Here. I will have this image up on the screen. It's very disturbing. By
Buck
the way, the two people holding this, Annie Ko and Iching Katie Lee, uh, these two women in the photo, they were protesting the design of the shirt.
Oh man. Well,
Gosh,
Abercrombie and Fitch already has like a bunch of other problems.
yeah, I
We
remember in the
just
past, they, the CEO made a comment about how the reason, why they didn't make plus size clothing, and it was because they wanted their clothes to be for the cool kids only, implying that the cool kids are the skinny kids.
Mhm.
Gosh, sometimes when we do these episodes, I'm not even angry. I just don't see the point in
Yeah,
why people do
same.
these things. To eat in or walk out. What? Gosh. Pizza dojo.
I don't get it, man. I mean, I think it would be funny for like an Asian person to wear that ironically. Like that's the type of thing that would be funny to me, but like telling that to Abercrombie and Fitch demographic, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not so sure that that's an Asian demographic.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
No, Rihanna, you are always right no matter what you say.
Oh, obviously. I know. I hate myself.
uh,
Anyways,
when they recalled this T-shirt line, it was the company's first, actually, their first recall ever. Because they don't care, but they kind of had to this time
yeah.
because it got too serious. Too many people were upset. Well, not too many people. Well, to them it was too many people, but it was rightfully so. Gosh. Hang on.
I can't wait for Brandy Melville to get canceled for doing something racist.
Oh my God. Yeah. Have you seen those TikTok POV videos where you're talking to a Brandy Melville worker?
Yeah.
There
PO.
was a period of time where I liked watching those.
You know what's funny? A girl from our school works at Brandy.
You gotta tell me who later.
Okay, I will, I will.
The company spokesman, Hampton Carney, said, "We personally thought Asians would love this t-shirt. We are truly and deeply sorry for offended people. Dot dot dot. We
Sure.
never single out any one group to poke fun at. We poke fun at everyone, everybody, from women to flight attendants to baggage handlers to football coaches to Irish Americans to snow skiers. There's really no group we haven't teased."
What? What kind of apology is that?
You see, I think there's a glaring difference between Asians and then the whole women, flight attendants, baggage handlers, football coaches, Irish Americans, snow skiers. I think that's a glaring difference.
Really? What is it? I can't see. I wonder.
Justice to the football coaches.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell kind of apology is that?
A bad one. That's it.
Don't support Abercrombie and Fitch, guys.
Their clothes are lame anyways.
Yeah. They're one of those brands, they kind of like Aeropostale, they just slap the name on everything, which I know that's a thing in fashion, especially nowadays. Everyone's just making their logo as big and as obnoxious as they can. People flex
Yeah.
them and stuff.
Well,
You know,
luckily, like Abercrombie and Finch isn't really like popular anymore, you know?
yeah. Do you think they'll die out like Aeropostale?
Oh, for sure. I think like the thing closest to them that took over is Brandy, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Brandy is really big. I don't
Yeah.
know how that happened. I actually never heard of Brandy until this really popular girl, arguably probably the most popular girl at my middle school, mentioned it one time. I never heard of Brandy, didn't know what it was. Actually, hadn't seen a Brandy in my life until maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, the reason why I hadn't seen a physical Brandy store before was because I don't shop at this very high-end mall in our city.
Yeah.
What is this company? I feel like, because to me it felt like it was a new oh wow, established in 1970 in Italy.
Yeah, it's two Italian guys. I think it's father and a son, and it's
Oh my
weird when you
god,
think about their marketing because it's literally only teenage girls.
this is so weird. The
Yeah.
brand name and logo was inspired by the fictional tale of two people, Brandy, an American girl, and Melville, an English guy who met in Rome and fell in who wrote this? Who met in Rome and fell in love.
Who made a whole chain of stores after a fanfic? Come on now.
What do they mean the logo? The logo is just Brandy and Melville and a heart.
Yeah. That's so simple.
Yeah. So innovative. I wish. Gosh.
Well,
Okay.
we should probably move on.
A clothing note. Well, not necessarily a clothing note, but the last topic with the whole gentrification of Asian food is restaurants banning Chinese customers during COVID. Here I have a slightly older example, but pretty relevant. It was from 5 months ago. A French chef was cut from Michelin Guide after saying no Chinese customers wanted.
Nice.
Again, another Netshark article. So, this French chef worked at an upscale German restaurant, and they put out a notice on Facebook for the restaurant saying, we start on Monday. This was an update for COVID. We start on Friday, but only with our bistro. No Chinese wanted! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
Period.
Wow, thanks, Brianna. I'm gonna walk out right now.
Oh man.
I'm glad he was cut. He deserved that.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for people like this.
Like, wait, let me see. Okay, so he said that, right? And obviously he got backlash. And then you know what he said?
What did he say?
He goes, "My wife is Asian."
No.
Yeah,
Really?
my wife is Asian, and I myself am a foreigner in this land. Rest assured, I can be accused of many things, but certainly not racism, and I do not tolerate it. Excuse me?
What?
This man said, "No Asians allowed," and then said, "I'm not racist."
Gosh. And then he backpedaled and said that the remark wasn't aimed at the Chinese people, but for the dictators and strongmen in the Chinese government. What do you mean? You literally think that President Xi was gonna be on Facebook, the app that he banned from the country, and then he was gonna somehow stumble upon this German French, well, not German French, this German restaurant, and see this your French. Oh wait, no. The Facebook update was written in German. The chef was French, but he definitely can't read German.
He really said, "No Chinese wanted," and then said, "I'm not talking about the people."
I'm talking about President Xi.
Okay, sir.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's sad. COVID was bad. Like a friend of mine, we'll talk about this later also. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've told you this, but a friend of mine was out on the TTC during like lockdown. I think she had to like she was going to her dad's house or something, and she was spit on by some
What?
guy. Yeah, she was spit on by some guy who called her a dirty Asian.
Gosh.
Either dirty Asian or a dirty Chinese. And she is Asian and she's Filipino. She
I've
got
been
spit.
attacked, but I haven't been spit on. It sounds well. It's sad that we're having this conversation. It's like we're going through a checklist or like a never have I ever.
Yeah, which is
That's
something
a
that,
sad racist version.
yeah.
Gosh. I've been yelled at, I've been attacked. I haven't been beat up,
That's
but
good.
if I do, I'll be sure to let it go viral.
Yeah. No, first you gotta tell me so I can deal with it first.
How are you gonna deal with it?
I have my ways. I know people.
You literally do know people.
I do.
Nah, man, they can't get to me yet.
They're better
I
not.
can defend myself. Stab them with my chopstick. Headline. News headline.
Asian girls.
Racist. Young Asian girl defends herself, not strikes a racist white attacker with chopsticks.
Nah, that would be the next shark article, but the article on like the news channels would be like crazy foreigner stabs innocent bystander with chopstick, you
That's
know?
funny. People do think I'm a foreigner, but I'm a citizen.
Literally. Hashtag perpetual foreigner.
Gosh. I wrote an essay about that for scholarship. Hey, if you're listening, want to give me that scholarship?
Please. Starts crying.
Please, please. I will start crying.
Okay. Well, before we go off and cry, thank you guys for watching today's episode.
Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed our. Honestly, I wouldn't really call this an angry rant. We're pretty done.
This is like
This is more of an exasperated episode.
yeah.
Leave a comment about your experience with Asian fusion restaurants. Have they tasted good before? Have you gone to one that did it right? Is there a way to do Asian fusion restaurants right?
Have they tasted good before? Oh man.
Your opinion about Gordan Ramsey. Have you? If anyone's actually had food at his restaurant, let me know how that tastes. Let me know how much you had to pay for that. Did you run into a celebrity?
Did you run into the man himself?
Imagine that isn't uncommon though. Celebrity chefs or celebrities that have their own restaurants, bakeries, they'll check in from time to time.
That would be cool, except you made an Asian restaurant, so it's not cool anymore.
Yeah. Oh, leave your thoughts in the chop suey font. Let me know what the hell chop suey actually is supposed to be. I mean, not the dish, the name. And support Asian restaurants because these restaurants ain't supporting us. Support Asian restaurants only.
Period.
Support that mom and pop shop in Chinatown.
Honestly though, like in all seriousness, Asian restaurants have like probably been the hardest hit in terms of like COVID.
Yeah, and in terms of businesses, they're the ones that are hardest hit.
Yeah.
Vandalism and stuff. This is a heavy one.
It is. Well, if you want to find out more about us, terrible segue, but check out the card link in our Instagram bio. It contains links to our streaming platforms such as Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and more. Follow us for behind the scenes content, announcements, and other random things we decide to put on there.
We are much more happier on there.
Yeah, for sure.
On our Instagram, on social media. We are signing off. See you next time. Hopefully with a happier episode.
Oh man.
Bye. Love you.